title. The Man Who Fed Strays theme. Summary. A lonely widower's simple act of kindness toward stray animals transforms an entire neighborhood's heart and soul. Paragraph 1. In a quiet suburb outside Portland, Oregon, where every lawn was trimmed and every mailbox painted just right, there lived a man who didn't quite fit in. Walter Jameson, 67, kept to himself. His wife, Marlena, had passed 4 years ago, and since then, Walter had become a ghost in his own house. He didn't join block parties, didn't answer the neighborhood watch emails, and certainly didn't care for small talk over picket fences. But every morning at 6:30 a.m., sharp, rain or shine, Walter would step outside with a bag of dry food and a jug of water. One by one, strays from all over the neighborhood, a 3-legged tabby, a mangy-looking shepherd mix, even a one-eyed raccoon, everyone else wanted exterminated, would gather in his backyard like it was communion. He never spoke to them, just poured, watched, and waited. To everyone else, it was odd. To Walter, it was the only conversation he had that still felt real. What he didn't know, however, was that his quiet ritual was about to awaken something unexpected across the neighborhood, something deeper than HOA rules and garden parties ever could. Paragraph 2. It started with a boy. Tyler Griggs, 10 years old, had just moved into the house next door with his single mom. He was quiet, awkward, and already bullied at school. One morning, up early and feeling restless, Tyler spotted Walter outside, hunched in his flannel coat, scooping kibble into bowls. Curiosity turned into habit, and soon Tyler was showing up too. No words, just watching, until one day, he brought a biscuit for the old beagle with the torn ear. Walter looked at the boy, then at the biscuit, and simply nodded. That was the beginning. By the end of the month, 2 more kids had joined. Then an elderly woman from down the street, whose husband had Alzheimer's. She brought fresh salmon skin from last night's dinner. Then came Mr. Patel, a retired engineer whose grandkids only visited on Christmas, offering scraps of roti wrapped in foil. Without realizing it, Walter's backyard became a haven, not just for animals, but for people who'd fallen between the cracks. They didn't talk about their pain. They didn't have to. It was in the quiet, in the soft chewing of hungry mouths, where they found their connection. Paragraph 3. But as the gathering grew, so did the complaints. One neighbor wrote to the city, citing sanitation concerns. Another sent an anonymous photo to the local paper with the headline, "Neighborhood Turns into Zoo." The HOA called a meeting. Walter was invited, or rather, summoned. Dressed in his only suit, hands trembling, he stood in front of 30 polished faces and tried to explain, but words had never been his strength. "I don't have much family," he said. "Not anymore, but they come every morning, and somehow it makes me feel like I'm still part of something." He paused, then added, "If it's a choice between silence and a few stray paws on the lawn, I'll take the paws." The room was quiet. Then Tyler stood up and said, "I used to eat lunch alone every day, but Mr. Jameson taught me how to make friends, even if they walk on 4 legs." Others joined in. One by one, hands were raised. The HOA vote was unanimous. The sanctuary could stay. A new clause was added. Exceptions permitted for community well-being and emotional support efforts. It was the first time anyone remembered a rule being changed for kindness. Paragraph 4. Over the next year, the Stray Circle, as it became known, evolved into something beautiful. High schoolers painted signs for the animals' names. A local vet volunteered services for injured strays. A bench was placed in the yard for stories and coffee. Walter, once invisible, became the town's quiet hero. But age, as it does, caught up with him. In the fall, he didn't come out one morning. Tyler knocked, no answer. Walter had passed peacefully in his sleep. A photo of Marlena beside his bed, and a note that read, "Thank you for helping me feel human again." The funeral overflowed, not just with people, but with the stray animals the town once wanted gone. Now groomed, named, and loved, Tyler gave the eulogy, holding Walter's old flannel coat. "He didn't change the world," he said. "He just made a corner of it warmer." Today, the sanctuary still runs. Tyler and others take turns feeding the strays, and every new child in the neighborhood hears the same story. There once was a man who fed the forgotten and reminded us not to forget ourselves.